Hello, good evening everyone. Today we'll take some MCQs on IND AS 8. So check how much you have understood IND AS 8. Follow me. We'll solve some MCQs on IND AS 8. So are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Question number 1. ABC Inc. changes its method of valuation of inventory from weighted average to first in first out method. XYZ should account for this change as. So there are 4 options in front of you. One is it is a change in the estimate and account for it prospectively. The other it is a change in accounting policy and account for it prospectively. C, option C, change in accounting policy and account for it retrospectively. And option D, it is account for it as a correction of an error and account for it retrospectively. So how many of you believe option A is the right answer? B, D, C. Vote for C. So let us ask computer, what is the right answer? Yes, option C is the right answer. Tick mark. Option C. Change in accounting policy, and it will be accounted retrospectively because it's a voluntary change. One more chance to check your understanding of IND AS 8. Question number 2. Change in accounting policy does not include change in useful life from 10 years to 7 years, does not include. Change in accounting policy does not include. Change in method of inventory from FIFO to weighted average. Then change in method of valuation of inventory from weighted average to FIFO. Change from the practice, that is convention. Accounting policy means practice and convention also, of paying as Christmas bonus 1 month salary to staff before the end of the year to the new practice of paying half month salary only. So which of these is not a change in accounting policy? A, sure, lock. Not B. B is an accounting policy. Very good. C is also change in accounting policy. D is also change in accounting policy. So if you have to choose the most appropriate answer, the answer will be A. Very good. So tick mark A. Then next question, number 3. When a company changes an accounting policy voluntarily, it has to inform shareholders prior to taking the decision. Account for it retrospectively. Treat the effect of change as an extraordinary item. And option D, treat it prospectively and adjust the effect of change in the current period and future period. B, not D. Treat it prospectively and adjust the effect of change in current and prior and future period. B, sure. It means you are understanding. It means you are understanding the standard. So the answer is account for it retrospectively because it's a voluntary change. Now question number 4 on your screen. When it is difficult to distinguish between a change in estimate and a change in accounting policy, everybody will reply, then an entity should treat the entire change as a change in estimate with appropriate disclosure. Option B, a portion on a reasonable basis, the relative amount of change in estimate and the change in accounting policy, and treat each one accordingly. Very good. Imagination. I can't even believe some people can imagine such thing. Treat the entire change as a change in accounting policy, and treat this change is a mixture of two types of changes. It is best if it is ignored in the year of the change. The entity should then wait for the following year to see how the change develops and then treat it accordingly. So what according to you is the right answer? Everybody should reply louder. A is the right answer. Tick mark A. Yes, A was the right answer. One more question I will give you for your understanding. You have to learn the entire standard. Can you see? You are able to answer correctly because you have learnt it fully. When an independent valuation expert advises an entity that the salvage value of its plant and machinery had drastically changed, and thus the change in material, what the entity should do? So they have to basically revise their depreciation. So let us see what are the options and what is the answer. Retrospectively change the depreciation charge based on the revised salvage value. Right or wrong? Wrong. Why? It is a change in estimate, so retrospective change is not required. Change the depreciation charge and treat it as a correction of error. It is not an error. Change the annual depreciation for the current year and future year. Yes. Ignore the effect of change on annual depreciation, because change in salvage value would normally affect the future value only, since these are expected to be recovered in future. I don't know from where they draft such statement also. But then if you have studied, you will be able to answer correctly. Understood? So these were some examples of MCQs on IND AS 8. You can be asked similar questions, so practice a lot. In order to answer MCQs, you have to study the chapter in detail. No shortcut. If you ignore certain thing, then some points can be asked in MCQ and you will not be able to answer. Like why it is wrong, that also you are aware. Why it is wrong, that also you should know, and why it is right, that also you should know. Okay, so these were some MCQ questions. The answer is C. So thank you very much for attending this MCQ session.